extra ironic given that I attack trans people all the time, but never because they're trans. Yet people accuse me of attacking trans people because they're trans when that hasn't happened.
Explain. Okay, I want to understand this person's
let's
electoral...
just go along with this identity politics garbage. You love the gays more than you love the Jews. Let's just ask you that question. Obvious trolls, obvious.
We don't have to go through all the Bad Bunny stuff. I just don't ever want people to forget this. Kira Chats had, it was used to be Bad Bunny. The reason why she rebranded, I think, was to get away from a lot of this. This is 14 pages of using the term faggot. 14 pages down here. Now, it was a long time ago, the end of 2019. We've got tranny being used only until 2019. We've got autistic being used, if you care about that, 149 results. We've got some good N-word being used here. But yeah. She's also made strange.
I, for one, would never be involved with a guy who's bisexual. I couldn't do it. There might be exceptions, obviously. When I say I wouldn't be attracted or I'm not attracted, obviously, if it's like, obviously there could be exceptions, all you super literal nerds out there, but like, I don't like, if a guy's just like having sex with other guys, and then he's like, oh, maybe I'll try having sex with you. I'm like, racist and sexist, please don't say that. Even black people, if you found me a black bisexual man, I might throw up in my mouth.
Then there are other comments. We're going to have to go through all this. Mike also defended other homophobic attacks against Pete, including a comment about the natural devious disposition inherent in gay men.
Buttigieg was psychotic for deploying in Afghanistan in 2009, Moira wrote in one tweet, adding in another that he could never trust Buttigieg because he combined the natural devious disposition inherent in gay men with a bloodthirsty career's drive. Okay, this one's a little bit funny. This one's funny. This one's actually really funny. There's nothing wrong with this one. A gay man can say a joke like this. Give me a fucking break.
Here's Hassan defending the same tweet.
Could never trust Buttigieg because he combines the natural devious disposition inherent in gay men with a bloodthirsty careerist drive. Oh, Jesus Christ.
And question, along with another progressive streamer, Lucid Fox, why any gay man in Indiana would struggle with being gay.
I mean, you know, probably.
Wait, what?
Not,
if you could, if there was a pill, there's a pill that I...
Events like this make me extra upset because not only does it demonstrate what I come to expect of people, that you're a piece of shit who doesn't believe or care about anything. You just do whatever you need to say to get popular. But it actually shows a huge disconnect with the people that you claim to speak for. This is probably one of the dumbest comments I've ever heard in my entire life about somebody's sexuality. Now I'm going to do the punch out impression on this. I have never heard a more cis, straight, privileged comment in my life than what Mike Com is about to say here. Or not Mike Com, sorry, Central Committee, Mike PA.
If there was a pill, there's a pill that I could take and not be gay anymore, I would have jumped on it.
Yeesh. Forthwith. We talked about this morning. This is...
of course you would!
Which one in the bag?
Yeah.
Where'd you get a bag?
And the thing is, there are people in his mentions that defend it. They're like, well, this is about him struggling with his sexuality.
And thank God I didn't, because then I would not have the amazing marriage that I have now to chastity.
The context The context
Acts as a list of things in the
this is
bag.
when he was
This
struggling as a
thing
child,
is
but he literally
definitely
didn't
on
come out
it.
until his
I am
30s.
committed.
That's so stupid. He didn't struggle with being gay because he didn't come out
He didn't struggle, like, he wasn't struggling with, like,
Axe has no time for all this
being
jibber
as
jabber.
a child or in college.
Hearken
You know?
unto me.
You'd think between a chat room full of like progressives and two
Of
supposedly
course.
progressive guys that like one person here could clue them in on like, hey bro,
Thus and so.
I gotta tell you straight up, I find this disgusting. I find this disgusting.
I guess maybe because I have conservatives or people that don't maybe if you
So
you don't understand,
begins a
right?
new
Even if you're not
age of knowledge.
being open about being gay, that doesn't necessarily make it easier to have that
I
lived experience,
proceed.
right? Like being gay for a variety of reasons, any sexuality that's off the norm introduces
Away
a fuck ton of
hence.
confusion into your life. Why do you have feelings towards people that you shouldn't have? Are you wrong or broken or damaged or
Mindfully.
disgusting? Are you ever going to be able to have a happy, healthy relationship? Are you forcing yourself into relationships that you're not very happy about? Are you worried that somebody's going to find out that you are gay? All of these are issues that people come up without you ever having to come out. Of course, there's going to be a ton of internal adversity in your life before ever coming
An
out. as a gay
honor
person.
to
You don't
fight
need to come
me.
out and have people call you bad names, like what Mike would, if you have the wrong political positions, in order for you to have a struggle.
Concentration.
And that statement that the statement that he made is a really common statement by non-cis and non-sexual, non-cis and non-hetero people as well. If I could take a pill and not be trans, if I could take a pill and not be gay or lesbian,
So
I would,
it
because
is
it would have made
said.
my life so much easier. That's an incredibly common statement. I cannot believe you can have any engagement with
Radiant's
anyone
courier
gay,
has been killed.
gay or LGBT, any person at all. I've never heard that in my entire life. Unbelievable.
I'll tell you why.
Orbs
This
light my path.
It's for straight people. This is for
Yeah.
bigots. That's what he's talking to. This is the This is the description of sexuality that goes back 15 years. Like, almost nobody thinks that it's a choice anymore.
Profitable engagement.
And he's actually adopting kind of this
Yes.
homophobic trope where being gay is in any sense shameful.
Attack.
If there was a pill right now that I could take to be gay, I don't care. That's the response. There's no difference to me and or anyone who's got a reasonable, up-to-date view of human sexuality about being gay or queer or asexual or demi or pan or whatever the fuck.
You dare fight me?
It is unbelievable.
We don't have to watch the rest of this.
With speed.
Mike makes a questionable comparison of irrelevant to Steve
I'm
Urkel after
well
multiple
aware of
conflicts the
it.
two had on stream. In this case, blackness could be attacked because Mike perceived it to be aggressive towards those of a different financial
Well
class.
away.
Dire's courier has been
Oh my
killed.
god, I didn't realize All Relevant was at the DNC.
First blood.
I didn't realize
They
All
will
Relevant
break
was at the
so
DNC in 96.
Away.
Oh, there he is. I found him.
Didn't expect you to make racist jokes. What? I was calling him a nerd. What the fuck? Get out of here, dude. Come on. Calling him a fucking nerd.
Known only to me.
I was calling him an Urkel. What's wrong? You're saying that if you could call me an Urkel if you want.
needs be.
Jesus Christ.
Grace to you.
Use the other end. Since I've identified, since I've been identified as being ontologically evil adversary, here are attacks that I've had thrown at me.
Athwart my path.
Hyena, community member and ex-girlfriend of
From the
after
arcade.
denying calling me a rapist, shows up in Demon Mama's chat calling me a rapist.
Well away.
Real quick, we have just done a stock on our own site. It's the only time that Vermin has ever used the
Who
word
threatens
rape at all.
Cyclonus?
Was talking about a story that happened to them.
I am committed.
So once again, motherfucking liar, literally making up nonsense.
Course.
Just making it up. He just made it up. Once again, as always, caught in 4 fucking K. Oh, you checked further. They called Destiny Rapestiny 3 days ago. I don't fucking care. That is not an accusation of rape.
Luck upon you.
Demon Mama originally called me a liar, then immediately walked it back and claimed she didn't care.
Such
Hyena's made multiple rape comments about me in Wash's chat as well. This is your brain on Rapestiny content. Rapestiny, not Wash. Canvassing hard with this shit, Lameo. Set up mutual aid. Stop sitting on daddy's lap because there's the online IRL organizing Rapestiny.
I'll keep it in mind.
Rapestiny strikes again. The only bad guy here is Rapestiny. Rapestiny, Keck V, Rapestiny. Maddie Cakes, an online progressive streamer, made weird rape claims about me on a panel, receiving pushback from almost everyone else there besides Josie.
It is tedious.
I think that's like, whenever I see Destiny get so hammered,
Fine.
right? Where he's like, whenever anyone mentions something like grooming or
Mindfully.
that's an offense. That is the biggest red flag.
All lives must end. Avowedly.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Over yon.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
I don't think that's responsible.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's. I would not say that about. Okay, so sorry, I don't.
After I had pushed back against the fake rape claims Maddie made against me, she would go on to fabricate DMs against her, claiming they were coming from the community. Anti-Semitism and misogyny, she is writing the fake comments to herself.
Thus and so.
From Octaves. This was the first thread I received. It was pretty far down my inbox because I was flooded with DMs after yesterday's stream. Mostly positive notes. For all I know, it could be the same. Once again, asking for PG to leave me alone. Watch your back, bitch. If you think shit's bad now, you have no idea the pain we will cause. We're just getting started. She did a Photoshop edit of this tweet that she left in this dot here, which shows that there was a back and forth. Even though she tried to make
the enemy's top tower is fallen.
Forthwith.
After being called out on it, she just implored me to leave her the fuck alone.
I'm well aware of it.
Leave me the fuck alone. You're basing the entire accusation on a fucking mark made when I accidentally hit markup while cropping the screenshot. Leave me the fuck alone. That accidental mark that she would have had to have made would have been a perfect mark across several marks that she would have had to make to do it. Saying that the proof Photoshop was just an accidental markup she put on a tablet. Further analysis, further proof that she fabricated those messages. People were able to create the accounts that she had made, or that she'd claimed she'd gotten DMs from, showing that she edited the names of the accounts, then that the account was never real. People also went and they checked the timestamps that she'd made, and based on her times and when she posted the tweets, the times didn't line up. Josie would go on to defend Maddie in a later stream after her false claims about me, claiming that people were only having fun on the platform, and then saying that those who support me are no better than those who supported Donald Trump after he started insurrections and riots.
And if anybody has a problem with Maddie, you have a problem with me too.
What a punk.
And I am willing to talk to those giant platforms about this shit because they're afraid to challenge it. I'm not gonna stand for this shit. I'm not. This is one of those things that we have to be able to stand up against. Because there is too much pain that is being dealt with people. Nothing more.
Spherical sorcery.
Like, what is our only crime? Trying to have fun, trying to entertain, trying to, you know, maybe make a new way in their life. But the fragility of
I am.
like, oh man, I gotta protect myself against the things that the world said. So I'm gonna entirely denigrate them and make them the bad guy, and then everybody's gonna stop looking at me and all the terrible things that I said and just focus on how terrible the life is for the woman that I serve. instead of focusing on the real issues.
Lie unto death.
And I'll say right now, anybody that is the defending the actions, and I'll say it because you know what? I don't care. Anybody who's defending the actions of those people and then having all that happen, what he did to Maddie, you're no better than people who support Donald Trump.
I'm well aware of it.
Demon defends him, calling me false claims for fake DNF. When those harassing claims were proven 100% fabricated.
Holy fuck! I don't care if you think like that.
You're responsible by saying literally that somebody was a groomer, rapist, or a pedophile. You can pick any of those three.
Or whatever. I don't fucking care. Like the amount of harassment I've seen thrown at Maddie, and the fact that like the predominant narrative is that Maddie made up everything. Come on, that's fucking stupid.
Concentration. One of my favorites.
Okay, it doesn't matter if she's saying it or not. She's supporting it in her rhetoric. She's saying that there is some truth to the narrative, and that she didn't make up this idea that Destiny's a groomer. That's crazy. Citations, please? Sources? Any sources?
I'll keep it in mind.
Casey Tron fabricated a story about me ignoring a safe word and implied a I think it's fair to say that Bob sexually harassed someone because of his jokes towards Ophelia, but I'm sorry, Steven is way more than a predator. I mean, there were the Bad Bunny rape allegations when he didn't respect her safe word and his community just completely obliterated him. So for them to act like they care is a joke. Not to mention how they won't even listen to how the victims that they keep waving around feel. This mischaracterization is actually, it's not even 180. I would have to go to 3, 4, or 5 dimensions of like reversal to show you how unbelievably Keffels claimed that I stealthed people.
Oh yeah, meanwhile he stealths people, which is legitimately a form of rape.
I'm well aware of it.
Insane. Insane shit.
True sorcery.
This clip, I wish I had a slightly longer one. She walks this back in about 5 or 10 more seconds. People are going to accuse me of clip chimping here. She does walk it back like 5 or 10 seconds later. Softly.
Well aware. Axe fades from sight.
Keffels claimed I stealth people, then softly walked it back later. She would go on to say that she would never apologize for it after horrendously misquoting and butchering positions I have relating to informing your potential sexual partner about your genitals.
I love that several months ago, he said that if a trans woman does not disclose she's trans before having sex with someone, they are a rapist. I have done this. According to him, I'm a rapist. But he'll never take that back, nor will his like weird fans expect him to take that back. So, why am I expected to apologize for anything? I don't care.
Keffels' comments are ironically transphobic, however, as she is essentializing a trans person as having the genitals of their assigned sex at birth, which is not always the case, and I specify in my tweets and on stream that I am talking about genitals, not simply sexual organs. If you mislead someone relating to sexual organs and they discover it as you're engaging in sexual activities, that's tantamount to rape. I think you have a right to know the genitals of the person you're sleeping with before you're actually engaging in sexual contact. If you are presenting as female and you have a penis, or present as a male and have a vagina, you should absolutely disclose this before your sexual activities begin. This wasn't about being trans. It was about having a different set of genitals. They have something, right? They have something, right? Typically, we associate like a gender expression.
Your top tower is under attack. Radiant structures are fortified.
Most people right now in society don't sign up for it, like don't know about, like they wouldn't sign up. Like, if you go to fucking Roll,
Your top tower is under attack.
That doesn't mean you know, or that doesn't mean like you take off on stage, right? That's like a different, a way different thing.
Your top tower is under attack.
Really good quick clip I have in here is I think somebody actually asked me what if they had bottom surgery, and I said, oh yeah, I guess a lot of shit probably don't.
Your top tower is under attack. The The enemy's bottom
Despite
tower
Kethel's
is
lack of sympathy for me and her willingness to make fake rape claims about me without even caring to apologize, she is bothered when I'm not sympathetic towards her getting
Hearken
doxxed.
unto me.
This is a quote from me. I absolutely do not give a single fuck if Keffels gets doxxed or harassed. I have no care for you as a human being. Beyond the river.
Forthwith.
She gets upset when I use a similar evil argument back at her. The difference is, I'm not calling her evil because of her beliefs. I lack regard for her because of her aggressive and hateful behavior towards me, including taking credit. This is a back and forth. Why not actually flip the entire thing? Why not you said you don't care that God's Reddit said because the person is literally trying to get me banned from every platform to remove all of my income and brag about it later on. You realize this is way worse than dogs. Why the fuck would I care about this person? Are you insane? And then these are all of her tweets celebrating my ban from Twitch. Your star will fall. Hey Steven, I just took away your primary source of income. Please leave me alone. How did I predict this? Destiny getting banned. Destiny got banned.
So
I
it is
won.
said.
Congratulations, you love for the person who carved out the left politics space you now inhabit.
'Tis tedious.
Ninetales, another progressive trans streamer that runs in these same circles, echoes similar claims with no evidence of it. New post where you called out Keffels for saying Destiny's a rapist and doubling down her next stream. When Nima Mama said this is why Destiny called for a hate raid live on stream. Not my opinion that those are lies. Sorry. Do you think those are true? I think over the past few decades, we have seen many people call up men to abuse the power, and those men try to slander the accusers by default. I think it's no different. On top of this, I have known many people who echo this, both publicly and privately, to shoot fits. Remember the hierarchy. If I'm a white man, you can infinitely attack me, do whatever you want to me. But if I do any type of claim back, it's just considered slander and horrible because of the hierarchy that exists. Chloe, at Bob Poster, a large trans Twitter user, falsely accused me of raping Melina on stream in response to this. Hey, at the OmniLiberal, please tell your friend Steven to stop sodomizing the whole large. Thanks.
Damn. Do they have sex?
Steve, what are you... Stop!
Stop what?
Whatever you're doing, I can't
Mindfully.
Stop!
What?
What are you doing? Stop! Steve!
When are you going to ask for an date? Drop this Destiny.
Melina and I poke, tickle, prod each other pretty frequently, but Chloe decided in this instance that I was raping her, decided to take this claim to Twitter.
With speed.
I didn't use the safe word though. My no was part of the play. Get the fuck out of our relationship, you dumb fuck.
Fine. Exhort, try so long.
She would later claim that this tweet was just a joke, but people in other communities, such as Vosh's subreddit or people on Twitter, echo it uncritically. And the way he calls HRT sex drives me blah. It's because I made a rather distasteful joke about him and his girlfriend, now wife, way back when he's disliked me ever since. This is this gayest fish guy on Twitter. How about the more recent one where he raped a woman?
Stands ready.
This is from Vosh's subreddit.
Your top tower is under attack.
Probably poking her back or tickling her side. He fingered his girlfriend on stream while they were on a hot tub. She was clearly uncomfortable.
Concentration.
Apparently, it's something Destiny and his girlfriend do somewhat regularly. Some form of consent. The on-stream stuff was just being pretty irresponsible to your audience while drunk. And why do I know this? Because the man himself literally replied to my comment about the indecent or incident being kind of sus, saying that it was actually completely fine. Yeah, that's pretty creepy. Like, I get that sometimes there can be more caveats when it comes to consent in a long time. Like, yeah, they're actually
concentration. Shatter.
This does not excuse him and his partner from non-consensual imagery chatting with business. I'm really sorry. I'm trying not to be condescending. I'm trying to be I don't think you can figure it out. Alright, I don't think your finger can go in. It doesn't work that way. Okay? It's very hard to have sex about that. Or maybe he thought I was trying to rape her with my finger. Maybe that's what he said. I don't know. Who the fuck knows?
Descent of fire! Behold!
Other active members of these communities continue to echo this. Xander Hall even does this while reacting to a 10-year-old conversation I had with one. At this point, point that he's reacting to this video, I think I had sex with 2 women by now. Yeah, already.
Of course.
And once SRS controls the world, everything that any man does will become rape. Now, obviously, that's hyperbole, but people seem to actually operate under the fear that, well, if feminists are like changing the rape to be disproportionate, then I've raped people.
Well, no, but a lot of it is just like personally uncomfortable too. Like I've raped a lot, like going under the definitions that you guys have said. But like everybody that's
Keep in mind that the context of this conversation was somebody, like, if you have sex with your partner when they're tired, it was one of those ridiculous things, like, that counts as rape. It's like, okay, well, that counts as all men, like, hardcore rapists, if that's what we're going to say. That was the context of this conversation.
Over yon. I proceed.
Okay. Alright.
Known only to me.
Looking at this here and seeing how defensive he is of people being falsely accused of rape because of how insanely broad the definition is according to these crazy fucking lefties. So he is clearly saying here that part of his concern is that apparently he's raped plenty of times, quote unquote, by that crazy broad lefty definition. And then there's the stealthing drama, where his rhetoric and his defensiveness and whatnot are basically identical to what he's saying here. I mean, the parallels are blaring. And I feel, I know I'm going to get shit for even, like, hinting at this, but maybe he's just getting ultra defensive about the stealthing stuff because he's done it before and doesn't want to own up to the fact that that's shitty to do. Judging off of what he said there, it seems that way.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Rape and slur comments are forever. Pathetic greasy center transphobe. Keffels was right. You're a rapist, probably a pedophile. We will follow you everywhere online, letting everyone you work with know. Or you can get on your knees and publicly apologize to Keffels. This guy says a lot of selfish on Twitter. Death threats. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of death threats. I don't know. People always Wicked were actually thinking of Destiny. Support comes about it did happen. Still draws breath, unfortunately. I wish somebody killed Destiny. If only. If she were too, she'd have my blessing. Wish she did. Maybe next time. If only. I wish. Girl can dream. That would be a marvelous day in Roblox. She didn't. Oh, come on. The night is young. If only. She should have. Would be better for all of us if they did. It'd be like, again, imagine me ever tweeting out like, man, it's like I killed Keffel. It's like a whole Twitter mentions where people say like, I wish you killed Keffel. It's like, imagine how insane that would be. Remember earlier that Doe was willing to masturbate the multiple reports on Gammy for making the joke, it's deer hunting season. But
Mercury abounds.
Has anyone seen Destiny? It feels like he vanished from Twitter completely. It's weird. He slipped and fell on a knife 666 times. Very tragic. But good news, his wife is now single, got a little kid. Oh, this is my Destiny. I stand firmly on this. Destiny needs to be killed. Gun him down as he leaves his home. Must resist urge to break TOS. Must resist urge to break TOS. Did. Oh, about killing
Your
himself.
middle tower is under attack.
This had 26 likes and then some quote tweets. Probably my audience. Oh, Dreamleaf is a pretty big Twitter account.
I am committed.
They have like
an incantation long remembered with speed.
8,000 followers, 7,700 followers.
Plucked from the
Now I know I'm not supposed to send death threats and all, but there's some reasons. The government's going to make money.
Light my path.
You're a legitimately deranged guy. Put it this way, I will donate 500 pounds to a charity of destiny choosing me to get swatted and killed at any point. Many DMs, well, people unfortunately delete their accounts or get banned afterwards, so if I don't screenshot them immediately, these are just like random DMs I get. Mayonnaise, monkey, pussy ass bitch, honky. You're a racist, fucking Klansman. Kill yourself. Jump off a white bridge, cracker. New Kendrick, I'm inside your wall. Stop moving, fucking cracker, cracker. Kill yourself, honky. I know you think you're on a bigot, but I'm gonna just let you know that Huntington Beach is a big city. And if I ever see you making uncomfortable with your hilarious jokes and hilarious thing to stop, I will personally find where you live. You deserve to live. You deserve to feel life whenever you step outside and think you're so fucking disgusting towards women. On this app, I'm telling you, your bottom tower I tried to go back and take
your middle tower is under attack.
But like I could do this like for days and days. And suspiciously, the same time Vash's community was decided by the Reddit admins for Brigade, we'd received that our subreddit was being brigaded. So Vash's subreddit made a big posting rule update where they were saying that we no longer post on other subreddits. I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. The main reason why the no subreddit posting rule exists is because we were reached out to by Reddit's admins about harassment. We'd like to keep our subreddits no talking about the subreddits. At the same time, my subreddit. Hey, our destiny. I'm an admin. My job is subreddit consistently receiving this message because it looks like we've received more than normal. The team is feeling overwhelmed. We have some resources that might help. Because ever since launch of this Fortress arc, every cross-play has been launch Many like to attack my relationship with my son. His wife, being the one liking a Nazi's banger tweets that are calling trans women a man. Nobody's insulting Nathan, they're insulting Destiny for being a deadbeat dad.
Is under attack.
Dreamleaf again. He should spend more time with his son Nathan instead of furiously quote tweeting random 100 follower trans people. No Nathans. Nathan is his son. He pulls out script, moved halfway across the country from to pursue better streaming opportunities. This is Nathanless behavior. Finally, you have time to take care of your retarded son. Don't you have a son to not take care of? I think, 37 minutes in Vash's subreddit. I think Destiny should take his $1 million to retire to become a father. He's already fathered a mistake for the sake of his career.
A line without
Ability. So many tweets attacking me. Almost every quote tweet to this is some kind of attack. Girl, bye, fuck you and your husband. Both of y'all deserve each other. Fucking white supremacist, transphobic, racist cunts.
Fine.
Did you like to tweet about Lord Southern calling a trans woman a man? No. Bitch who's siding with a neo-Nazi that started attacks just to get a petty owned trans person. Her husband is harassing things. People need to be nice to them. You're owed nothing, you deserve nothing. God, see more you learn something. I'm sick of it. Fuck that child. I wish Destiny the worst and I'm glad he's banned. Say that again without crying.
As needs be.
There's like a whole, all the quote, I can't view quotes, but all of these quotes. Many have attacked me in the past for identifying as a non-binary. I no longer identify this way, even though I've considered different sexual or gender identities and discussed it at length at various points in history. The Destiny admits being fake non-binary leftists. Isn't Destiny non-binary? Why would they make this argument? No, he isn't. He always claimed he was technically one and used this identity only as a shield for gotchas. Non-binary streamer admits not truly being non-binary. Quote tweet of me saying, "Wait, so you're admitting that some people adopt labels?" I've talked about like but I've talked to this like this is like 4 years ago relating to sexuality. That was 100. It especially feels like I've had like several conversations on my stream related to like my gender identity and stuff. The idea that I've just made it up one day is not true.
I'm well aware of it.
You can go watch this if you're bored. Many large communities have defended consciousness against moderators and members freely use the Federation slurs against me as well. Holding up every time someone research
You make Usano a banned word, please? Oh my god. Oh yikes, dude. I know exactly where this take is coming from. It's generated from a specific community where people are like
forthwith.
People want to make this want to make it out to be a fucking like slur or something. It just means worm, okay? It's a term that leftist South Americans use against other South Americans and Latinos that side with Americans, American imperialism.
I like how he says it means worm, and now he's talking about what it really means, like right afterwards.
Thrives.
It's like saying you're what's the term? How do I describe it? It's like a lighter version and not as popular a version as Uncle Tom. Okay.
Concentration.
Really weird. He's all of a sudden like super fucking Cuban, super in touch with his Cuban background. All of a sudden, very
never sounds super.
It's not
never sounds super in touch with
Cuban and very offended.
I just don't really like it that large streamers.
Your top tower is under attack.
Where community is very offended at the usage of the term, but like most white people have never even fucking heard of, dude.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
I'm well aware.
Bad Bunny has made multiple references to this slur. Gusano Simulator 2021, which was playing a recent Far Cry game. Thinking about that streamer that came to visit me in Seattle, that really felt like that. So he made me stand back to back with him near the mirror. It wasn't still short. More like short Gusano behavior. If it happened, it happens. Thinking about the streamer. By the way, that streamer is Destiny. Liked by Kira Chat. Destiny's such a dumb shit sissy Gusano. Harassing trans people, people of color, and overall just being a trans shitbag. I hope he gets the platform. The squirrel, these always get thousands of engagement. 14-year-old suburbanite white dude bros who have a Twitch streamer for a surrogate daddy. Oh my god, that's a slur. You can't keep saying that. Oh my god, it's worse than the N-word. Nobody has ever said it's worse than the N-word. I don't know why that's strong. Will you stop saying it?
Are fortified.
Motherfucker in the world. Alright? Of course, this fucking Gusano cracker worm bitch is trying to get involved. God, what a loser. What is it? Is this on server? Jesus Christ! What the fuck? I think that was one of his son's Discord mods.
Your middle tower is under attack.
You guys should report that to server ban. Get a server ban. Fuck it. Jesus.
This guy like grew up in America or something?
Who threatens my concentration?
This is a thread that was on the Hassan Piker subreddit. Thank you, Hassan, for having the correct opinion on the Gusano word. Don't expect Gusano to come true. I believe Destiny would rather waste his time tweeting racial slurs, bashing neopronouns, and being the ultimate debate, bro. Gusano is not a racial slur because anti-Castro Cuban is not a race.
Mystery.
People would I think this is like searching for like Gusano to the omniliberal. You can just see like all Oh! I need the streamable real quick. The guy calling me blue-eyed Gusano. That was a really good one. I can't believe I didn't put it here. I just remembered it because somebody in chat said it. Does anybody have a link? If you can give me that link in like 20 seconds. That's a really good one. Let's go. Sorry. One more. This person, by the way, never banned, never punished.
Some arms because I call Destiny a fucking Gusano. Because he is. Oh, but he's Cuban. This motherfucker has blue eyes. Not that it necessarily matters, but I can definitely tell you that because I can definitely tell you that his family owns fucking a plantation. His family definitely owns fucking slaves. There's a big tell.
The enemy's middle barracks is falling.
People have attacked my canvassing Josie native progressive
Assistant Secretary of Health. I mean, it's not like he's totally responsible. There's a lot of these young kids out there for the first time to not on board. I met a lot of these guys. They would have never ever. Yeah,
like the idea that like that got that range. great. But he also made he also helped Democratic candidate lose as well. He also made a Democratic candidate lose.
Fans of Hassan sexually harassing and attacking me for canvassing in Omaha over Discord. Wow, another typo, guys.
Your
Say-
bottom tower is under attack.
Pull your dick out and say you're Hassan's baby boy.
It's a whole talk.
I proceed.
These canvassing efforts culminated in a hit piece being published on me by Hannah Michelle Bussa of the UNO Gateway, spurred on by a short clip created in and propagated by Vosh's community, to which I responded with a detailed write-up on my subreddit. This was the big hit piece that got Gudgel basically out of the race. A lot of this ties back to a clip that we'll go over later. Vosh's community propagated about me. This was my write-up response to that whole incident.
I'll keep it in mind.
She had sent me an email asking for
clarification
on statements that I made. Do you have anything to say
well
about comments you made on the last episode? The article is in Aurora 3, and kind of responded for it. This was my response to her, where I included things about defending BLM, things about defending protesters. I sourced and linked every single thing that I mentioned in my email, policy positions that I had related to progressive issues, like everything I could do. And the only thing that she included of my email. Why would Hannah's takeaway from my response to her, where I include numerous times where I've defended BLM protests and riots in some instances, be, and what she wrote in her article relating to an email I sent her was, he only added that he thought the rioting would give former President Trump a path to victory in the November election. His message about protesters did not change.
Your top tower is under attack.
There's a whole other thing in here about this whole ordeal. I'm not going to rerun all of that right now. But basically, this was one of those cringe white liberal women that's obsessed with black people. The UNO Gateway ran 2 articles about 2 of the candidates running for mayor. Both of them were black women. And she, on her personal Facebook, was posting about how she supported. No way, this is one. But she on her personal Facebook was posting her support for Hannah personally supports Jasmine Harris, an opponent in the primary. Fuck, I don't know how this got removed from Imager. She follows Morgan Freeman, the campaign manager for Jasmine Harris. Jasmine Harris and Kimura Snipes were the 2 black women. But that's a whole other thing.
Dire structures are fortified.
Oh yeah, and people in that instance were doxing my canvas.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
This bores me.
Why did Hannah neglect that Yikes! There are far more affordable options unless they're in a $20 night studio. Are there even any like that in Omaha? They're not in $20 night places. I know that. PM me if you want to know the locations. I can imagine it's probably an area much nicer than my regular home. Very close to Sheelytown. This woman followed where my canvassers were staying when they were in Omaha. But she was giving out the address where any of my canvassers were staying to other people. These 2 women, you can go through their Facebook because all of it's public, are also big supporters of the
bottom tower is under attack.
Caseytron and Hannah falsely claim Melina and I spread STDs. Melina is national used to her and Destiny spread STDs. Just don't give them STDs like Destiny does for Multiple people have made fun of me for someone misrepresenting a drug and selling an unknown amphetamine to me instead of MDMA. I could find a ton of examples of this, but remember when Destiny accidentally had crystal meth? 520 likes, LOL. Looks like Destiny had to drop a scheduled debate because of meth. It's not gonna lie, that's imagine being such a snowflake when you watch you guys. Oh, this is the funniest I thought it was strange. Basically.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
There are many other random attacks, such as people calling fascists, claims that I've never been raped or violently assaulted by my partner, claims like Griper, claims that I'm only fucking because of money, telling people it's charity, etc., etc. Honestly, not worth listing all the attacks. There are hundreds more, plus thousands more.
The enemy's top
Hopefully, I got
tower has fallen.
not all of these claims are large amounts. These claims run the gamut from not so serious to extremely dire. I hope I've been able to accurately convey diverse amounts of struggle a variety of calls modes. None of the prior claims have anything to do with the difference between philosophy. Rather, they're all personal basis of values, hateful in nature or rooted in some fact that does not exist. Please understand that there are thousands more comments that could be gathered out there either in relation to me or other Also, these are only attacks in communities that are supposed to be closely politically aligned with. I wanted to show you more hateful comments. Conservative subreddits, YouTube comment sections from conservatives I've debated, or 4chan threads an unbelievable amount of lies and hatred. One of my positions is expected to not only tolerate, but deal with in an even-handed manner, where I'm expected never to lose my temper and cross the line. My community got super ass mad when I made a joke implying that Demon Mama... This usually happens and it's very frustrating. If I ever fuck up, my community gets really mad about like, are you lying about Demon Mama? And it's like, yeah, I shouldn't do that. I know, but like, holy fuck. It's hard not to. Living your values. I don't care much for what people say about themselves, truly. I don't care if someone says they're tolerant with different people, or tolerant of different people, they profess some political position, or they're good towards their friends. Ultimately, I only care about people's actions and how well they understand the issues they claim to care about. I'm far from perfect, but I believe I'm a better person than the vast majority of those that inhabit online political communities. I have and will continue to make many mistakes in my personal and public life, but I believe I aspire to some ideal at the end of the day that I am proud of. I don't like to come off as a bragger, but I do believe my track record is better than most in this arena. If there's ever a time to recount some achievements, this would be it. This is the cringiest part of anything I've ever written, but I'm gonna suck my own dick for just a second because Jesus fucking Christ. Professional positives. They have always believed revenue sharing is a business model on creating or extracting performance whenever the model works. If I'm paying flat rates, my rates are generally better than industry rates. I paid my original loss $1,000 a month, so the channel was earning enough money to split the profit 50% more than the and my current editor, 40% less than the channel, only flat rate. When I saw the positive reception from Patreon, I contacted Koibu and offered to help the opposite. Hey yo, so I started my Patreon. It seems like the responsibility I've tried to pay every person whose designs I've used for merchandise, stream events, YouTube/Twitter, banner/profile pics, or any other art I've used, including $5,000 for my D&D music and $1,000 for the original Play I pay people to maintain my website, with monthly fee to consider extra compensation for work by Vader, Renanda, Linus, 2012, when I first started, my website was made the choice to make open source, so that any work that went into creating a website for me would benefit the greater streaming community for years to come. I was unaware that my website source was taken and used so prolifically by sites shut down, including Vosh, Shuan Keffels, Serps TV, Xander Hall, XELX, I don't know how to pronounce her name, Merrick, Devil, Conyer CC, Shark3300, Demon Mama, and Queen Marcy. I think every single one of these people have at least at one point called for my permaban off of at least one platform that I've been involved in. Neither me nor my developers have ever received a single word of thanks from any of these content creators, and no one has contributed to the original repo for the fourth project. Generally, it's considered good faith, or it's considered good practice. Somebody makes a project Or
middle
you
tower
can
is
take
under
photos
attack.
and copy and you start looking at your own thing. That if you updated or added something to your own, ideally you would contribute or merge back
Your
some
middle
updates
tower
to your
has
original
fallen.
one, because that's like good etiquette. You generally want to do that.
From the
It's
arcade.
considered rude.
Radiant structures are fortified. Your middle tower is under attack.
I have never charged an appearance fee for any of the live shows I've gone to, unless a larger company or
Your
something.
middle barracks are under
I
attack.
have not
Your
been
middle
requested.
barracks has fallen.
I have not been. Oh, I'm sorry. I have not requested any of the university speeches or debates I've attended, even when the others there have. Elijah Schaefer got paid a stipend. I believe Dennis Prager got paid a stipend.
Witness true sorcery.
I have hosted and supported a massive number of smaller streamers, including those who either no longer support me or I am one of the only large streamers that consistently gave voices to smaller streamers by way of conversation, hosting, or numerous appearances, sometimes on and off my stream, across panel shows.
Light my path.
Personal causes. I've donated money anonymously to some projects in the past online, including personal LGBT causes like Winnie Wu's surgery. I think this was the conversation I had. Oh, she said that she was doing a thing. Hey, thanks for understanding when blah blah blah. Oh, I said congrats on your fundraising. Very good to market quickly. Thank you. We didn't quite cover like maybe processing fees. You know, I think that should do it. I'm looking around. I desperately hope I get them for Christmas. Blah blah blah. What'd you end up getting out of it? You were trying to raise like $5,000. Yeah, we were trying to raise $4,000, but we raised $5,000, something I think. When she was done streaming, I donated $1,000, but I thought it was an anonymous thing, but apparently it wasn't, which is super cringe. But I guess afterwards she noticed because she messaged me. She said, "Oh, thank you so much. I don't know what to say. Thank you very much. This helps a lot. Thank you." Holy fucking yikes! I thought that was anonymous. What the fuck? Anyway, fuck. I hope that covers transaction fees. Good luck with stuff and finding a surgeon. I'm sure that's like a whole battle in and of itself. Thank you, Destiny.
Such tedium.
1 year later, she would be giggling along with Mike about my deep partnership.
Before we begin discussing optics, for a second, so for just a couple minutes. That's a real shame. That's such a shame. Anyway, sorry about that. What was I gonna do? Oh, yikes, yeah. So, in case you don't know, I just want to touch on this topic for a little bit. In case you didn't know, we had a discussion last week where we went over the Lance's and a certain other affiliate streams. Oh wait, that's a little early. You have to do path to affiliate before you get affiliate. It's not, you don't just sign up to Twitch and then get the affiliate path. So I need to correct myself. I'm sorry. Soon to be affiliate. Had a debate on. Oh, thanks.
Oh yeah, Rush. I saw it.
Given dog shit rhetoric, he was a massive force for progressive politics on a massive platform. Okay.
I sprout anew.
Listen. Just because someone says trans rights doesn't mean they're a force for progressive change. All right? Voting for the Democrat is not enough for progressive change. All right? Like, that's not progressivism. Progressivism is about attacking these fundamental structures. There's a bunch of different groups that are under.
Your top tower has fallen.
1 year later, they'd be giggling along with Mike about my deep partnership from Twitch while he's claiming it didn't hold trans rights. Another thing, I often stay with or remotely book rooms for Nicole, Bad Bunny/Kira chats, after she had a traumatic sexual experience with one of my moderators. I'm not gonna so my mother was visiting, did bad shit. I think this is me asking, what happened? Are you okay? Are you hurt at all? Did you break anything like that? Blah. And then I think at some point, Well, make sure you get to a safe place where you can catch your breath and just chill for a bit. If you need help figuring out a place to stay or something, I can book a room for you. And if you're super worried about being alone or bored or something like that, I can swing by for a few days and get a buddy or something. Good luck with everything. Stay safe. And then I offered to book her a room long distance if she couldn't afford it because she wasn't originally planning on staying at home. And then here I'm thinking about trying to move my schedule around because this is when I was watching Nathan every day, so it's going to be pretty hard. Yeah, it's fine. Do you need help booking a room? I already have one booked. Thanks so much. That's really thoughtful. It's no problem, buddy. Chatting with you. All was fun.
Mockery about charming.
This was a sexual assault experience that even my community showed support for, which they did. They displayed it those who disrespect Bad Bunny. She's pretty cool. I legitimately enjoyed Destiny's IRL streams with her. His IRL streams in Seattle were super scuffed with shitty camera work. Less than a year later, she was crashing me on her stream, claiming I never cared about her, called me a bad friend, claimed I valued viewership over friends, and that I cultivated a toxic community. She's gone on multiple tirades since then, despite me defending her at multiple points against my community. I'm not going to watch all of this, but I mean, like, you can see the sections. Destiny can't remain ethical because she's striking fears. Destiny's scared of being called harassment. Values viewership over friends. Calls me sexist. Says she feels like she lost a friend. Called me a bad friend. Says I have no principles. She regrets sticking up for me ever.
I proceed.
Really hurt my mouth. We're just not friends He's going on multiple. Oh, Bad Bunny goes on a deranged rant calling Destiny a fascist for an hour. And I think these were defenses that I made my community, which somehow forgot about. I'm not gonna watch all of this, but.
Hey, I know you just like people talking about Destiny in your chat. Watch your map, Hassan, I agree with you. I would agree with me. So special, I'm sorry. Sorry. But Hassan, you need to stop constantly.
It was so awkward. I noticed it happened like 3 times in a row, and I was gonna say something. You can actually see me. I know exactly what you're talking about, and I started dying in the background. Oh my god.
You need to stop constantly cutting people off and talking. Something called conciseness. It's the thing. Be concise. Holy shit. I'm so happy 9 months, buddy.
He's still like Bad Bunny, just better terrible. None of you guys get
The enemy's top barracks has fallen.
Ghost walk. I am committed.
Let's see. This had to do with, I think, sexist or homophobic things she was saying, or homophobic or transphobic things. Stalled, I've spoken with her pretty extensively about it. I'm aware that it's not that way. People in chat are hardcore dug into the social media. You're not paid. Oh, I think this is about her, like,
the enemy's bottom tower has fallen. The enemy's middle tower has fallen. The enemy's
4 to 5 years ago, I would have this tirade that she ended up going on saying that I never tried to support her, and
the enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
I was one of the first big streamers to openly and aggressively support Obia that I Jin was amazing for a long time without the personal support with streaming. On the early days of streaming, I would bother. I don't know, a lot of people don't remember this, but XSplit was like de facto what people used. I think up to like 2015 or 16 maybe. Everybody used XSplit. But I really liked OBS, and Jim was super cool. We talked a lot on Discord. He helped me do like crazy streaming shit. That was back when I was always the one like pushing the edge of like what was quality. I think it was one of the first people to try streaming at 60 frames per second, like et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, he was a cool dude. I think, oof, I don't know if I can say this. He can correct me if I'm wrong. Who is Jim? Jim is the founder of OBS. I think that I'll say one of the reasons why Jim was able to go independent and do it full time was because of all the pushing I did for fundraising. I don't want to solo
5
take
seconds remaining.
credit for that, but I'm pretty sure that is the case. I went back to StarCraft 9 years ago to do a big fundraiser for the guy who created the Game Heart overlay, eventually netting him a full-time job at Blizzard after the success of the integration of his overlay, despite having been out of the community for several months when he was trying to raise money. This was a guy that I'd known for a bit tangentially because he did the Game Heart overlay stuff, and I found out later when I met him at a BlizzCon or something that because of that fundraiser push and the developing he did afterwards, he got a full-time job off of that. Also, I didn't put this in here, but Dharma Turtle, the lady that used to run the Dharma bot in chat, also got a full-time job coding because of the like work and everything with my community that she had done with the bot. She was able to do that too. But I've intervened in issues where I perceived a wrong being done, even if it was potentially an unpopular stance opposed to much more popular figures that I have closer relationships with. One such time was during the Prime Kai's drama where I helped to clear Prime's name by bogus improper conduct allegation in the middle of the night in Amsterdam off my stream, an intervention he later publicly thanked me for. I've also taken the side of less popular streamers against more popular ones, such as siding with Novaru during the DM leak drama, and even prevented high schoolers from canceling each other. You could argue the last one maybe was content, but the first one was siding against popular streamers. I don't think we have to watch all of these, but or maybe actually we could.
My channel wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Destiny.
Thanks, bud.
There's no two ways about it.
I've gone out of my way to get even streamers I'm not on good relations with unbanned for what I perceive to be unfair causes, such as the Surfs TV. I think this was me DMing my partner manager. The 2 streamers who got banned over the Irish Laddie and Vosh thing were all relevant in the Surfs TV. Awesome, thanks. Thanks for taking the time yesterday. Good getting each other person. So this was me trying to get both of them unbanned when I saw that they got banned just because they watched a Vosh clip or something. I also tried to submit an idea so Vosh could appear on Twitch streams, again, back when he was banned, though I was willing to mute my Twitch stream and send viewers his way when he wanted to have a discussion, such as a Rittenhouse conversation. So I tried to push for this idea of, like, there are certain political commentators like Vosh or Nick Fuentes that are banned on Twitch. Maybe you should be at least allowed to talk to them about the thing. I wrote up, like, a proposal, shipped this to my partner manager to see if they'd approve it. I don't even know if he said that anymore, but when I talked to Vosh, I would still, even though he was banned from Twitch, I was generally willing to mute my stream, and then I would link to his stream to send viewers his way so they could follow the conversation.
Responsible for you getting banned.
I'm not banned, I'm muted.
Concentration.
There were multiple times where I did this so that we'd be able to have a conversation. It would benefit his stream because all of my viewers would have to watch him to hear us when he was perma-banned from Twitch, or when he was banned from Twitch. Such as for the Rittenhouse conversation.
What from the arcanery?
I am the only large streamer I am aware of that will judiciously pursue cross-platform bans if my viewers harass someone. What is this? Oh, this is an example of something like, I think RTBA reached out to her because she was complaining about transphobic people. I probably could have had clips in here saying I will ban people for doing it, but whatever.
Over yon.
I've stated multiple times that I will ban someone from my subreddit, DGG chat room, Twitch and YouTube chats, as well as block them on social media if I see them attempting to harass someone from any of these platforms. Despite having this offer open, it was often not taken seriously by the very same people who complain about harassment. So like MX Vivian was one of those people that would say this, compiling it now and also fuck you. Tons of people would say like, oh, there's all of these harassing people in your community. And anytime we reach out, it's like, who is it? Tell us who. Tell us who will ban them. Very rarely do we ever get a response. RTBA has been pretty aggressive in pursuing
the
those
battle
I made it a point to cover sexual assault allegations on stream to provide some more insight into how events like these happen and how they can be avoided. Oh, this was, we had like a spreadsheet where we were going over like, was it really fucked? Was it kind of fucked? Or was it not fucked at all? These were met with overwhelmingly positive responses from the victims involved.
Thank you for sharing with me.
Forthwith.
I feel like that helped me a lot in terms of my fear of waking up to.
Hearken unto me.
For me, it's like crazy, I guess. Sometimes I feel like, as nice as people are, like, they're my friends.
I'll keep it in mind.
Of course, they'll be nice in a way, I guess. Hearing it from Destiny, he's a ruthless debater.
A small annihilation.
So hearing it from him felt like
forthwith. This bores me. I'm under attack. Attack! I proceed.
I had never heard
An honor to
so
fight
hard for
me.
a woman to say no, and the reason why men don't understand terms so aptly
Over yon.
described by literally anybody before. Not only in such a way that
Thus
makes
and
us
so.
feel heard and understood, but also in a way that you get that
Mindfully.
across to a mostly male audience who wouldn't otherwise ever think about that shit. And he
Away
said it
hence.
beautifully, and I would have a difficult time paraphrasing it.
One of my favorites.
I think these are logs. I was going for the dentist. I was listening all the time and asked him to let me keep my earbuds in because it was an important podcast. Waiting, try to explain what it's like to experience traffic as a woman and why it's hard to say no, all of that. I haven't cried since all this went down. It's hard to survival mode. Dreams. Hearing that, knowing it's being said to an audience of people that wouldn't otherwise even think to try to understand how different it might feel, it's so valuable and relieving. I was holding back tears while driving. We're getting shit like, why did you just say no? This is one of us. Most people don't get it. You get it. This community gets it. We never hear this understanding, compassionate perspective from men, so thank you.
Tis tedious.
Political causes. I offered up my platform to any progressive candidate who wanted to have advertise for their campaign, despite these videos not performing very well on my YouTube or my Twitch streams. I've got 5 examples. Generally pretty much viewership. One of these interviews was Josie, pre-transition, and it would be her first major appearance on YouTube. She was initially a fan of a lot of my stuff, thought my audience was valuable back then, though she would later go on to accuse me of being transphobic and defend people calling me a rapist. If you don't mind me asking, how old?
Orbs light
33.
my path.
Yeah. I'm actually a bit of a fan. I've seen a lot of your stuff before, so yeah, it's cool to actually sit down and chat.
Rico, why are you so passive,
well, I mean,
man? Like, I'm
anything like
playing
football,
one versus
that,
four.
that
Come
might
join me.
All things
What you have to say. Good to hear.
Concentration.
Video only has 30,000 views. He just didn't perform
You
that
gotta
well.
start giving, and because I can't do my job effectively without the support from people like
I'll
you,
keep
right?
it
Because
in
this is our
mind.
base. This is our base. This is who we're talking to. To take the time to speak with me, Steven, is like something that a progressive would do, right? Like this isn't something you're not going to get. You're not going to get Georgia to
Well, hey,
come
hold
on.
I spent over $100,000, which about $5,000 was fundraised for my community, canvassing efforts in Georgia and Omaha for progressive political leaders. This was the budget sheet for what we plan to spend in Omaha. I had salaried both of my full-time organizers. I paid one $5,000 a month and another $4,000 a month. I was paying $2,500 a month for 2 different Airbnbs, so about $5,000 a month for both. Discretionary budget for extra expenses. I think it ended up being $15,000 to bring down people and have places to stay every time they came down. This was food for the event, and then this was, I think we had clothing. This might have included like signing stuff too for like canvassers or whatever.
You dare fight me?
I paid my 2 lead organizers $5,000 and $4,000 a month and had a full-time residence in Omaha for 2 months to manage volunteers whose accommodations and food was also paying for full-time. We also coordinated travel and covered hotel expenses for the final weekend in Georgia and for every weekend in Omaha. In Georgia, we knocked on over 20,000 doors and led the single largest canvassing mobilization in the state during the final weekend of campaigning for Warnog and Ossow. I helped to support and promote some local political causes in Georgia. One of the interviews I gave to 2 of the people working on causes in Georgia wound up being Maddie Cakes' first major appearance on any political platform. A woman who would later go on to falsely accuse him of road rape accusations. This was Maddie Cakes' introduction to Twitch and the internet.
Set out to like justify this worldview that I cultivated for myself, and over time, when you actually look at
Unto battle. Protect and frick on.
I feel like I do my personal social life.
Thus and so.
Lies. Besides, the vilest writer has his readers, so the greatest liar has his readers. As often happens, if a lie be believed only for an hour, it has done its work. There is no farther occasion for it. Falsehood flies, and the truth comes limping after it, so that when men come to the undeceived, it is too late, and the jest is over, the tale has had its effect. It was written in an article in the Examiner by Jonathan Swift.
As need be.
Evidence is inconvenience. In this chapter, I'm going to explain different types of harassment that exist online, the relevant accusations levied at either me or my community. Some of these sections are going to feel a bit empty, but that's because other members of online communities have found it sufficient to simply accuse me or my community of committing any of these acts, oftentimes without understanding what the acts are, without providing a shred of evidence for any of these accusations. It's not only unfortunate, it's a reflection of the substandard character to propagate these sorts of lies other online communities. Hate raid involves some organized or coordinated attempt by one person or group of people to show up, brigade, en masse, and spam either hateful or derogatory messages at another individual or community. Hate raids are not when a handful of people decide to respond brutally to it. Hate raids are also not when individuals decide independently to send negative DMs to someone via social media. Hate raids are also not when multiple members of an instigated community show up in the instigator's arena.
It's all the same to me.
It could be said some amount of organic brigading could happen, especially if a content creator used the word strikes, but it wouldn't be considered a hate raid unless explicit ordinance was made. Let's look at a few examples. John attacks a much larger content creator, Nicole, in a YouTube video. Nicole used the YouTube channel, giving it a scouring. Many of her fans, in turn, go to John's channel and leave negative comments. One could argue that this is brigading behavior, as Nicole viewing John's video on stream will inevitably lead to some members of her community visiting John's channel. But a hate raid is not, unless there are community posts or directions from someone within the community to leave some specific types of comments. Laura and Jess get into a big fight with one another online, culminating in both exchanging words. Once their exchanges are done, Laura retreats back into the server and begins to link social media posts by Jess, telling her community that Jess has an ugly goblin nose and that people should say as much. Even though some comments may be exchanged by both communities that aren't really brigading or hate raiding, the explicit call at the end by Laura to go through Jess's videos and the comments would definitely rise to the level of hate raid behavior. Another example, despite being blocked, Keffels will continue to tag people and direct their communities to harass them on Twitter in an attempt to speak with them. Keffels has engaged in this behavior.
This aura is so strong.
So this is Blair White has blocked Keffels literally less than 2 minutes after I replied to her, yet she still tags her. Miss Blair White, you want to prove to me you aren't a coward and a snake? Come on my stream and talk to me. By blocking me, you were just trying to hide in your right-wing echo chamber and are doing everything you claim to be against. A little bit ironic there, but... Here's Keffels talking about her harassment of Stone Toss. He blocked 3 of my accounts, so I unprivated my personal account I had not used it for over 2 years to ratio. Always wanted to ratio Stone Toss.
With unerring proficiency.
If someone has blocked you on a social media platform and you continue to direct your community to them or create new accounts or use old accounts to circumvent the block, you are almost certainly engaging in some form of brigading and harassment. With a slightly more sophisticated understanding of what a hate raid is, let's review the allegations against me and my community. Keffels claims during the time of my ban, she was hate raided by my We just ended the hate raid by modifying the bottom follows Destiny on Twitch. It's over 13,000 likes.
Committed.
Sansa reviewed the hate raid and showed that Keffels was brigaded by another community before I even knew who she was. Posting my subreddit, John Lost, later
This is Keffels' stream, okay?
Yeah. I'm under attack.
We can look at the course of
Incantation of incineration.
So these, the bars here, are banned.
Compared to all this. So those are both of theirs for the same night, okay? It's in UCC, like compare and contrast the numbers. I can't
But essentially he goes through and points out that by the time she called me out, she was already hours past whatever this hate raid was. She accused my community of being the one that did this hate raid, but the timelines don't line up for it at all.
Until 11:50. So that 8:40. She didn't interact with Destiny.
She interacted with me down here. She'd already banned this many people from a hate raid earlier, but then she released my community.
I just cut losses.
Oh, I'm sorry. I misworded that. She had interacted with Destiny earlier. They put the bot for the battle of the GPUs at 11:50. All right. So 11:50. That's when the bot started. They didn't end the first hate raid with the bot. All right, because that happened at 8. This is where they put the bot.
This is where they did the bot. I think I was talking to that.
One top, one down. They dominate. They have 0 farm.
This guy summarizes it. Also, people always bring up these things. If Destiny actually organized a hate raid, it wouldn't be just 7 people. There would have been thousands, or at least hundreds. This alone should make the hate raid accusations dubious. Even if we grant that among the people who got banned 7 followed Destiny, that does not mean Destiny organized a hate raid. There are some people among them who followed Destiny. You don't even know if the 7 who got banned or Destiny followed Destiny on Twitch, but many people do. Even his haters or neutral bystanders. Keffels never seems to bring up the fact that she was not only fighting with large content creators early on Twitter, she was even harassing them from behind a block. It's more likely any hate raiders came from this than my community. So earlier that night, even though Ian had blocked her, she was still tagging him and directing her community to attack him. Still Gray, if you'd like to come on my stream and talk to me about trans issues, you're more than welcome, because I gotta admit, you made yourself look like a bitch to someone who you think is so. You can see the engagement she's getting on this. This is probably Casey Tron bolstered this saying a target honestly, to make this public would probably help with many hate raids. I know he's been targeting trans people on Twitter for Demon Mama claimed I sent a hate raid to Keffels. Demon Mama later said she didn't even care to review proof or evidence of any hate raid, which is common for her.
And this time, Destiny bit off more than he could chew, because he sent a hate raid over to a streamer who had his own
was not the same without me.
And all that Keffels had to do was block all people who follow Destiny
Ricky, stay
using
down.
a chat bot. And all of a sudden, the raid
Over yon, spiritual sorcery.
Now, there's 2 things with this. First of all,
Not yet.
you can make a video.
She didn't even care to review proof or evidence of any hate raid, which is common. Josie also claims she would be hate raided while streaming on Dylan's panel. She later claims that she banned 24 chatters who were hate raiding her, disregarding the fact that any hate raid for me would involve hundreds of chatters, or hundreds or thousands of chatters. Logs of her chat would later show that she only had 10 chatters banned, with only one of them actually being transphobic.
Is a person that is supporting Destiny in this, but I know that I'm taking an unpopular opinion. I know that just being on this panel against everybody here is going to verify the shit I was talking about. Like, I'm going to get people that are going to hate raid me probably during the stream. I'm probably going to get messages that are going to be very transphobic and awful. This is going to happen, and it is something that I'm going to have to deal with, because every time, even when I spoke up for a friend that he brigaded and admitted to brigading.
A friend. She's talking about Natty Cakes, the one that accused me falsely of sexual harassment and then fabricated DMs against my community.
I was the one that was also dragged for speaking up. This particular topic is exactly why it is hard to speak up.
These are logs of her chat.
Why? Tell me why, bro.
These are the types of things that were being said. Josie, you defended Natty Cakes when she called Destiny rapist. That's literal Destiny.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Hi Josie, you're unhinged. Have a
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Didn't you also lose your office? Why does that matter? Not transphobic.
Enlightenment stands ready.
Your top tower is under attack.
Mr. Anonymous, as a hate raider, I belong to a marginalized community in this chat space. Banning me as a fascist act of bigotry, discrimination, and oppressive. Or an oppression, that's not transphobic.
Such tedium.
Welcome to the internet where you force your other people's opinions when you don't like them. That's not transphobic. 41% troll face. This is a transphobic comment. Die Hard, make sure you bring up with the person that killed himself to get more victim points. They got banned. How did Destiny win and isn't even on the platform? Real W there, buddy. Going back to that 25 average.
The enemy's top
people
tower
forget about you
has
getting
fallen.
close. Boom, got banned. So one of these was transphobic. That's I don't think I included this in my doc.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Later on in that same video, Josie claimed that one of her mods killed themselves because of my community hate. I don't know why I didn't include
Your
that.
bottom tower
She honored
is
my
under
community
attack.
claim. They committed suicide because of the Destiny mystery. It was one of her members of her community that committed suicide.
It's
It
not
was
drawn from deep within.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
Vosh
Your
has, without
bottom
evidence,
tower.
also made multiple claims about hate raids, despite his own community getting clocked by the Reddit admins for excessive brigading.
Criticism or whatever. I mean, they're like the most brigady community in the universe. They kind of earn that for themselves. Getting a lot of damage. So we
Even his own community got stinged by the Reddit admins for brigading mine. We were the brigaders in his eyes. They, despite multiple claims of hate raiding, not a single content creator has produced a shred of evidence of any members of my community calling for or coordinating any sort of hate raid or brigades on other streamers. Even the hate raiders people point to tend to be zero-follower, newly created Twitter accounts, or Twitter accounts who only engage with me in a negative manner. Doxing. Doxing is a semi-informal concept on the internet that typically denotes someone publishing information about someone else online that the victim typically wishes to keep hidden, especially for purposes of harassment. The information may already be publicly available somewhere, but if one attempts to republish or amplify publicly available information or collect it on another platform, would typically still be considered doxing. A lot of people are mad at my spelling of doxing. I don't give a fuck.
I'll keep it
A
in
couple
mind.
quick examples. Amy goes through John's old school website looking for information about his address. She finds it posted on Twitter, hoping to scare him into deleting his account. This is a form of doxing, even if the information was publicly available prior. Steve sees that Jennifer says a racial slur in a TikTok video where none of her information is listed in her account. Steve is able to find out her identity and place of employment and adds her employer on Twitter to get her fired. This is a form of doxing. Steve has found Jennifer's personal information and is amplifying it on social media.
Your middle tower is under attack.
After witnessing a quarrel between Keffels and Chud Logic, Keffels' mod, Hunter Lion, posts a picture of his face that he explicitly wishes to keep private on Twitter. He also pairs this with an unsubstantiated rumor allegation. This is a form of doxing, as Hunter Lion's goal is to harm Chud by posting private. And the allegations against me or my community? Keffels makes an ambiguous claim about who is doxing, but will clarify other things as harassment mostly comes from my community, or falsely claim my community is a large global activity farms, a banned term in my chat so people can't link to threads. People online are actively attempting to dox my phone number and home address. I had to wake up my mom at 5 a.m. to go to deactivate her social media accounts. I'm okay, my family is safe. These people can't stand seeing trans people gain a platform and succeed. It drives them insane. I'm not letting them win.
I think you could use a vacation for the relentless harassment. There's literally no avoiding it. Like, you see it happens on Twitter, it happens on Twitch. Mostly from Destiny and Destiny's community. But other places as well, conservative, Nazis. They all sort of like amalgamate together. And your fears are basically after I got
Kill the commander, kill the commander.
Fight
Your top tower is under attack.
Avowedly.
Your top tower is fallen.
I am committed.
And
really, why no boot? How do you think?
Hither I go.
Your top tower is under attack.
What?
And for the last 3 months.
So you have Crystallis, you're poor and you have critical without boot.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Everything they can use against me.
I know I'm terrible with Slarvis.
Your middle tower has fallen.
Really.
They dox my mother.
You can't play Ricky Mara like that.
Of my Twitch mods.
Fight me.
It's fucking crazy. They haven't managed to actually dox me yet, though.
A charming.
I'm thankful for that. Like, yeah, my name's out there. I ran a fucking office, of course it's out there.
Ravagers of armor and will.
They found old videos from when I was
I don't know if those She complains a lot about how people are liking revenge porn. It's not revenge porn, it's porn that she posted online, and then it ended up getting like re-brought up. That's not what revenge porn is. That's not what revenge porn means. Again, there's like, it's like the delegitimizing of every word. It's the accusations that don't make any sense. It's the misunderstanding of what any of these online harassment things even mean. Maybe because they don't have online harassment. A better example of revenge porn would be that one SRS subreddit integrating my dick pic into their CSS of their site. That would be an example of revenge porn.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
And the porn shoots I did in my early 20s were all really
It is said, Calhoun's abyssal carnisphere.
There's not a lot but I just wanted to find
An honor to fight me.
And
Not yet.
Falsely claim I came with larger or falsely claim I'm getting stuff from Kiwi Farms.
I'm well aware.
It's definitely a coincidence that whenever people are digging up about me, he ends up tweeting about me, not deranged behavior at all. Surely his great effort to trans people by mocking childhood grooming victims. I'm so glad I have a team to manage my YouTube account and it's fully fucking awesome. I love how Destiny's a bad guy, who's in between death threats and telling me I'll never be a real woman. Predictably, other people jump in and allege that my community is behind it. She also makes false claims about revenge porn in this earlier clip, which doesn't make sense because porn you release yourself on the internet is not revenge porn. I'm completely unsurprised that DGG has gone full Kiwi Farms about their daddy getting taken off. This kind of shows you that, like, even if she's not mentioning these allegations echo to other parts of the internet and are generally well received. I don't know who took these screenshots. So this probably came from Bosch's community. Gruesome, from the community known for potential doxing. Hate rating streamer, Keffels being the best example, and as a result did some transphobia, while claiming it isn't transphobia because he's been defending trans people for years, so this transphobia is okay. Downplayed a rape victim while their daddy did rape assault. Cried about crack or while claiming Edward isn't continues to defend Lawrence of the mocked to death of an innocent dog that had nothing to do with any of this other than being her son's dog. Oh, I could go on. Basically, every single claim here is either half true or fake. But even random chatters from other communities make the same claims, again with no evidence. Oh, this is a crazy dude that was a Hutch fan. Destiny quite literally made a 25-minute video about me when I was a regular chatter a few years back, and his cockroaches doxed me, so this is a very good feeling. It's okay, it was bad in the moment, but now I like that I live rent-free in their heads. I can piss them off with my existence. Keffels never seems to mention that she has accrued an impressively huge Kiwi Farms thread, over 400 pages, in a relatively short amount of time. Kiwi Farms is a community known for doxing, brigading, and other forms of harassment. But for some reason, she always seems to blame my community and ignore that her Kiwi Farms thread got bigger than mine in like 1/20 of it. Fuck do I get blamed for the Kiwi Farms thread on Twitter? By the way, the idea that this is all coming from my community, when again, shred evidence has never been posted to prove as much. No content creator has ever provided a single shred of evidence of any doxing happening anywhere, be it my chat rooms, my subreddit, hateful remarks. Hateful generally implies you are making derogatory remarks towards someone, specifically in relation to some protected class. These remarks tend to be sexist, racist, or anti-LGBT. Many people make things about all of Keffels has claimed, among other things, that I've made 41% jokes about her or trans people. and she said the same about my community, implying I endorse it. Others seem to believe that I want to embrace 41% jokes. Destiny has made 41% jokes towards me, accused me of being a rapist, and had a problem with that. I do not regret at all my role in getting tortured, castrated. When I engage with the content, I don't like it, and the replies are filled with people rendering it doesn't even take an ounce of integrity to tell your audience it's wrong. We tell my audience it's wrong all the time. We ban people.
Looks like this match is just
all
a
of this
fucking
was
bait,
probably
man.
coming from Kiwi Farms. Oh, that last tweet had over 30,000 likes. True. I think the existence of Destiny creates a lot more transphobes, really. I mean, imagine encouraging and laughing at people for doxing her family, never done this, making 41% jokes to his audience so they bully her more, and then blame it on her. I blame her for the false accusations. Truly brain-dead logic. Let's also not forget Destiny openly said he wants to do 41%. So yeah, Destiny is definitely a bigot in many directions. They'll probably say, it's a joke, bro, but all of his posing up to white nationalists and making 41% jokes says otherwise.
For me. One of my favorites.
Also, referencing Kevin's genitals to make multiple remarks fantasizing about how wealthy she must have been, Destiny laughs at a chatter that says it's comforting to think this person will kill themselves in 30 years. Destiny says it's tempting to embrace 41% jokes. The reality of what happened was that I misread a comment in chat, assuming the chatter was making a trans suicide joke, when the chatter was actually just making a neat suicide joke. I went on to say that, although it was tempting to embrace the 41% jokes, I'm trying to stay above board. I don't think I need to explain myself, but just in case, this was literally the day of my indefinite suspension from Twitch, a suspension that couples others take credit for. At this time, it was tempting to attack the members who were attempting to destroy me by any means possible. Despite this, I've held myself to a higher standard, and I resist the temptation. So Nixon here made a joke, a neat joke. Destiny, take comfort in the fact that in 30 years this person will probably Minecraft themselves. I read that much and assumed it was a transphobic joke, but it was a neat joke. Your parents will no longer be around. Take comfort in the fact that in 30 years this person it's tempting to embrace the 41 jokes, but
your bottom tower is under attack.
I don't even know why at this point.
You're
the reason I started caring about politics. Don't retire until you fail to be right.
I've never made a 41% joke in my life. If anybody ever wants to knock yourself out, throw one out. Many claim I make fun of trans people. With basic media literacy, you can understand the following. Destiny believe it's okay to make fun of suicidal folks in their attempts to trans white people. This claim originates from being skeptical about a suicide attempt and the afterwards behavior from Doe. She claimed in a published Word doc that she had upwards of 700 and 800 milligrams of diphenhydramine in her system. This diphenhydramine in her system, which is about 15 pills of Benadryl, well under the LD50, the dosage at which 50% of subjects will die, which is about 20 to 40 milligrams per kilogram of body weight. This was the wonderful Word doc that she published.
Dire structures are fortified.
Sorcery. Enlightenment stands ready. Incantation.
After her attempt, she immediately published some poetry, along with some egg notes from her
Your middle tower is under attack.
The next day, she was immediately back, valiantly fighting with degenerates on Twitter over political and social causes. She continued to make personal attacks against
your middle tower is
bad drugs that were
sometimes your top tower is under attack.
Wait for a promise. Like, bro, it's Thanksgiving this month. Family, the fact that you really find all because your own sickness. Seriously, instead of trying to rile up your audience with stories and stuffing, I think that I blocked it. Check out the new J.O. Crystal. Me and my bros charged for like 40 hours straight, bro. I want to be clear and I want to say something. Personally, I think this is destructive. I'm not going to make fun of people. Like, you're literally bringing up an attempt at suicide because you got ratioed, you really good health. This person is so addicted they're spam quote tweeting me behind a block. Everyone's angry you on is validating behavior. I can't imagine how much your therapist rolls her eyes when you bring in another 40 tweets that triggered you for the week. Regardless, if you think my criticisms of Doe were well-founded or inappropriate, this is the only suicide attempt I've attacked the credibility of. Clearly had nothing to do with her being trans and everything to do with the ridiculous set of circumstances and the treatment surrounding this particular attempt. Also, I never initially directed any of these comments to Doe. These were comments that I made in my chat. If they were so harmful to Doe, why was I finding logs in my chat, screenshotting them, and then posting them all over Twitter when I already had Doe blocked? Wouldn't they be the ones causing her harm?
Your bottom tower is under
People always claim my community makes transphobic remarks, and you can never learn to show long-standing members of my community or places that I have control over being transphobic. It's always random Twitter riffraff for people who follow me that I have no control over on other social media platforms. I have and will continue to mute anyone in my Twitter mentions making transphobic remarks, but it's impossible to control who follows me.
Avowedly.
Random harassment. Harassment comes in all shapes and sizes and is quite vague. Many erroneous claims of harassment. It's harmful to random that clip is literally take him out. That's it. Hey, that's me.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Wait, the guy who was DMing? Manja. Oh, nice. Wash his man speaking with zero evidence.
Your middle barracks are under attack. Your middle barracks has fallen. Your middle barracks.
3 versus 5 is not fair.
Your middle tower has fallen. Your middle tower has fallen.
They didn't touch me, but I lost pulse.
Radiant
As an aside, all of our conversations have a lot of people watching. The idea that this is the only time my community has done like a cord. Oh, this was when they misconfigured Cloudflare and they DDoS themselves. Oh, was that true? I didn't even know that part, if that was the case.
Clips last night. Oh my god, he fucking hates my guts. Holy shit, he was just shit talking me the entire fucking time. Oh my god.
Destiny?
I didn't think I was. Yeah, Destiny was shit talking me the entire time, and in fact, this morning I woke up and DGG had like 3 posts making fun of me on the front page of the DGG subreddit.
Yeah, I'd say they're fairly obsessed with it.
They're fucking obsessed.
Vosh and others have claimed my community tried to pedo-jacket, falsely state someone is a pedophile, Doe, again with no evidence. This is Vosh liking this tweet. The fact that DGG tried to pedo-jacket Doe for months over nothing, but are now celebrating this Mr. Girl freak show, shows how deeply unserious they are. Again with no evidence.
5 seconds remaining.
I'm sorry, can I please just for once actually get proof of this? Destiny subreddit at the time, also Gammy. Yes, I can. Her name is RGR. RGR isn't DGG. This is like saying a certain religion of all, like, that's, yeah. I looked it up. The opposite is true, as often is the case. I'm sorry, but RGR's position is dog shit on this. It still doesn't deserve harassment. This is what was getting up. Nobody in my community sided with Riley in this argument. But I think I say that next. The sad thing about this conversation is that the truth is actually entirely the opposite, with both me and my community completely siding with Doe in the argument, despite my personal dislike of her. Not even dislike, I should say hatred. I think the thing that's most disappointing is that when the RGR Do drama was happening, Destiny wasn't even streaming. If Destiny was afraid of shitting on RGR, he could have easily came back and just said, like, it's old drama, I'm bored of it, I want to play League or some shit. And up until that point, almost all of the sub was posting about how cringe RGR was in the debate and how she was obviously in the wrong. I didn't see anyone saying her position or the way she went about the conversation was good. The fact that Destiny chose to come back, do an entire stream on the drama, and almost entirely side with Do's perspective, to then have people like Vosh and other idiots blatantly misrepresent the series of events and his community's perspective is so annoying. I wish someone that was a mutual like Hunter would talk to him about this, because at this point, this is legitimately spreading really harmful misinformation and defamation. And in before Vosh goes, I have bad memory, I thought I remembered them doing this, I think we need to really start questioning whether or not Vosh's shitty memory precludes him from just having any take you can believe at face value that isn't pointing directly to an article that he just read. I'm really disappointed with VGG. I really liked Vosh. I feel Vosh at the end of the day was a propagandist who cares little about honesty. We'll get to that. Extra funny claims from Merrick that Vosh's community is not sexist, even though she said the exact opposite before. A years-long member in VGG called me a Botox spray and was permabanned instantly. Destiny's chat called me retarded a lot and talked about how I'm not a worthwhile person with nice tits, and it was just normal and everyone was cool with it. This was later when she was on her anti-Destiny binge. But what did she say closer to her conversation with Vosh?
Concentration.
Why is this not?
Thither I go.
And he didn't necessarily, he didn't agree with me on that, but that's okay. I thought we had.
In case you're wondering, it's in the bag.
However, reading chat was, wow. I'd always felt comfortable. I'd always felt like I was a part of VGG. People were saying that I mean, I saw stuff that was like fucking Botox brain bitch. Like, yeah. People were talking about what a dumb woke scold I am, and I was just like totally shocked. When the video came out on his YouTube, someone was like,
30 seconds to battle.
Snake in the grass.
This bores me.
She could stab you in the back and turn on you at the first opportunity. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this is like my community. Like, what is this? And like a bunch of people were just, yeah, like people talking about how I'm perverted. Like, it was like, I was like, oh wow.
So it is said.
Especially after Vosh's J.K. Rowling fallout with more claims about mine, although she will never contact any mods of mine or provide proof to ban any of the sexist comments. It's also funny that Merrick claims to care about sexism when she had no qualms of sexism from Vosh, when he said that a woman who was wearing stockings and a skirt wanted to be sexually harassed, when he called her a stupid fucking bitch, all while Merrick was in his chat.
Vosh, Vouch, I don't care.
Shut up, bitch.
Light my path.
Sorry.
Merrick DeVille. I found this video a while back and just turned it off when she randomly went on this rant about you. Also, hi, Vosh.
So it is said. Lex Magnalecto. An honor.
Claims by Josie that I am a constant source of transphobia and harassment, and would go on to say that I laugh at rape victims, claiming that there are inconsequential forms of rape.
But that is the only point I agree with. I think that Destiny is probably one of the most toxic humans that was on this platform. He was a constant source of transphobia and harassment of trans content creators particularly. He was not great when it came to women's issues, including laughing at racism, including things like inconsequential forms of rape, right? For dating people, I've had to deal with personal friends that had health crises because of his large platform, and he forgated people and put them having people, you know, do heinous things to those individuals. Twitch doesn't just only ban people.
None of those claims are true. That inconsequential form of rape is a horrendous misquotation of a conversation I had with Duncan Can't Die. Yes, this is like a really common one, right? Say that two people go to sleep, say that they're cuddling when they're sleeping, the guy wakes up, he's kind of got a boner, he starts like touching the woman a little bit, she's kind of like touching her back, she rubs her booty against him, and the guy starts fucking her, and then she wakes up more, and she's like, I'm not into this, I don't want to do this actually, and they didn't talk about it beforehand, and she says like, hey, can you stop? And the guy's like, oh yeah, shit, sorry, I thought you were into it. In that case, I think you could say that like the guy raped a woman, and that's what happened, going by his definition.
Oh, he absolutely did. That's rape.
Yeah,
and
but like, is this like
shouldn't do that?
Yeah, I agree. You shouldn't do it. But is this like he needs to go to prison and this is a horrible?
I think he needs to be punished. Yeah, I think if somebody does that, they need to be punished, and we should teach people not to fucking do that. Like what?
I think I think that sexual situations are a little bit more complicated than just saying like that's the example of a person that needs to be
I don't
punished.
think that one. I don't think that one is that bad. I don't think that. That's the best hypothetical you can give of like a rape situation that isn't bad. But a woman is asleep and you decide to fuck them. Like, if you're in a long-term relationship and you've had sex before, it's a bit more nuanced. But even then, like, she probably wouldn't call it rape. She'd be like, hey, don't do that. Like, it depends on the impact on the person. If it's just a girl that you've gone to bed with, that you've never slept with before, you know, you're covering.
No, hold on. Obviously, I'm talking about something you haven't talked about. I'm not saying that this is like a random girl that you're like just happen to be.
So wait, is marital rape not bad then? Marital rape
so in this conversation, other than well, in that case, it seems like there's something inconsequential for rape. If you're talking about a situation like this, it doesn't seem like this rises to the same level of drugging people or pressuring people. But now some people like Joseph will take that approach. Oh, Destiny believes that rape is inconsequential. She would also falsely claim here that Demon Mama doesn't use the site based on my website's original code, a false claim also stated by MX Vivian Wolf and Keffels.
Sure, Demon Mama and
Like, doesn't Demon Mama use
he's had to deal with a mental health
website created for Destiny?
Wait.
That is not true.
Wait. I'm gonna. Hey.
This is a false claim that's also stated by Vivian and Keffels. Vivian said this, not really Destiny's code, it was mostly open source. I don't know what they think that means. If it was just like a random bunch of people that made this.
Mindfully. To see if I can start sending cease and desist to people who use my site for commercial purposes. Okay, but I'm not using his fucking site.
The learned ones.
The site has nothing to do with his site, and also it's fucking open source.
The site is a derivative of my code base for my website.
He can fucking die mad. I don't care.
Radiant's courier
like imagine putting out open source software and then getting mad at your
threatens my concentration.
Wait, so did I or did I not? Wait, did I not put out the open? Is it mine or is it not?
Software.
Concentration.
You can see when you go to her site, like it is obviously.
I'm well aware of it.
Probably the same layout, same fundamental. It was all a fork from a very early repo that we did. I've closed it since then, but obviously it doesn't keep all those people from me. But yeah, I mean, like this is. I mean.
Onto battles.
Actually, others just playing.
Roll back, man.
Such tedium. True arcanery thrives. This
Random statements. I'm not even sure how to classify these sites. Random, baseless, bizarre things that people believe about me. Generally seen and alleged that I go to paid events for fascist propaganda. I generally don't get paid for the events I go to, certainly not the one referenced. The people who made careers of debating fascists were only able to do that by becoming a part of right-wing media. They don't fight fascism. When they aren't persecuting marginalized people online, they appear on right-wing shows and paid events as foils for fascism. Hassan's community claimed during the place event that my community was botting the event. This is just weird. It was funny because the whole community was botting it. Reddit's bots, a whole bunch of people in Hassan's community got it. They were also linking in their subreddit, like, how to bot. I think this is how to bot, but I have not read the code, so I don't know, trust it, or don't. Also, definitely read the comments. This is them trying to show that bot and getting banned. I got a 138,000 hour ban for trying to rebuild. I know we shouldn't body shame, but this is really tiny big behavior. Spam Did we technically mass report Destiny's subreddit?
Fight me?
3/5 of the way done.
A charming hex.
We're gonna take a
I proceed.
Quick break, coffee break, food break.
With unerring proficiency.
And then we're moving on.
As needs be.
Radiant structures are fortified.
So it is said. Well away. Of course. Wax was expected mana pulse. Incantation long. I proceed. Oh wow. Go for his magic. This spherical sorcery. Avowedly. Behold. Fight me.
Your middle tower is under attack.
Yes. Plucked from the arcanery. An enlightenment. No mana.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
The flayed ones drink your blood.
Radiant's courier has been killed. Your middle tower is under attack.
Fine. Unto battle. Rex cycle. This
regeneration.
Athwart I'm under
The enemy's top tower has fallen.
Die as you lived. Witness true sorcery. The learned one strikes. 'Tis tedious. Thither I go. Concentration. Such tedium. Did I miscast? Arcane Colorine's most cunning fabrications.
The enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
I am committed.
Dire structures are fortified. The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
A small annihilation. Thus and so. Mindfully. Exalt when one of my favorites. I will not be interrupted. Aware of it. Exhort, quas exhort! Forthwith. yawn? Well away.
My reach exceeds my grasp.
Orbs light my heart. Am I from naught? Mindfully. Thus and so. The abyssal carnisphere. Elementals. This bore
Thanks are in order.
Such tedium.
The enemy's middle tower has fallen.
Spirit. Attack.
The enemy's bottom tower has fallen.
Die unto death.
The enemy's middle barracks has
All
fallen.
knowledge is power.
The enemy's middle barracks has fallen.
Threatens my concentration. Pyroclasm. I reach additional over yon. Was my last order.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Everything about my stream would be significantly worse if it weren't for tireless dedication.
Dire victory.
Security moderator. Cake, that's our website maintainer. And Chief Puts Out Fires guy. Jader Vernanda, a mysterious, the actual developer guy. Linus Red, the other actual developer. Chatbot maintainer. Forethought, chief subreddit janitor. Ninu, email manager, master unbanner, and merch deliverer. August, actual YouTube editor, God
A
on
new
Earth.
age of
Lemmy
dark
Winston Ken Valley,
magic
the old guard,
starts
Twitch
now.
mods. Auntie, George, Mike Com, Free, Andrea, Polecat, Not Diced, Bogboy, Amelia, or Amelie, and Zolus. There's probably more too that I missed too for my thankless Discord moderators. And Cinza and Stanpet, the two who originally, really for no compensation, originally built out Destiny GG, got the whole project and chat started back in 2013.
Who dared cross my
VQ.
torment?
The world isn't a greater peril from those who tolerate or encourage evil than from those who actually commit it. Good friend of the stream, Albert Einstein, referencing an interview he was summarizing of Pablo Casals. Et tu, Brute? We've already gone over the insertion of Ian Kaczynski, currently known as Vosh, formerly known as Irish Laddie, into the YouTube and Twitch sphere. In this section, I want to focus on how Ian chooses to operate in this space, and how the intentional mischaracterizations he makes of me are ultimately harmful to both me and the work that I do. While I repeatedly get characterized as being obsessed by both him and his community, Ian is easily the most prevalent puppet master of this narrative. There's nothing obsessive about covering some of the most popular political figures in this space making commentary about hot topic political issues. The only goal of framing criticisms in this light is to escape any and all responsibility for the things one says and give oneself a pass to endlessly attack the people covering you. It would be impossible for any mainstream figure like Sean Hannity or Tucker Carlson to start claiming that rival pundits are obsessive stalkers, and this situation is no different. Ian has always been someone who's been an extremist in his political ideals, even back in 2012, claiming that we ought to sacrifice intellectual honesty for the purpose of the progressive movement.
It would be detrimental in the sense that you wouldn't get the same frenzied, blind, anti-intellectual mob mentality following you, but it wouldn't be detrimental in serving a greater intellectual purpose to mankind, I think, in my opinion.
And that's your opinion. And look, ideologically, I would like nothing more than for us to be able to frankly and candidly discuss all issues with nothing more than the sincerest of intellectual honesty. The only problem is, and I said the same thing about discussing differences about races and gender, so this is something we're going to have to agree to disagree with. Okay. Sometimes, if intellectual honesty is the cost of a successful improvement of the state of humanity, then sometimes that just has to be made. And
he's also caused some conservative members of my community, namely X-Skills Me, to leave after making multiple overtures advocating violence against conservatives. This is stuff that he said, I think, on stream and in my
I think this is actually a pretty astute comparison. I'm a leftist. I'm a communist. I believe that the property rights of the wealthy should not be respected. I feel that their assets should be seized from them and that many of them should be executed for crimes against the workers of this country. That if I go up on stage and I express these views,
just to be clear, that's a pretty hardline communist stance. I don't
ideology.
I know you're a capitalist. Well, you know, I have an interesting mention from you where you say that I have all of the bullet attracting characteristics of a human. Do you remember saying that about me?
Yes, I stand by.
To be clear, yeah. So to be clear, as chat, Irish Laddie has basically said he would give me the bullet in his real world. So while he's here whining about me dialoguing treating him, we're coming into this with him basically saying he would kill me under his political system.
Okay,
so,
okay. All right, okay. For one, I didn't say I would do it. I'm lazy, okay? Let's not assign that responsibility to me. But would you be killed generally? Ooh, I don't know. You make a solid case every time you open your mouth. Yeah, I'm not ashamed of that statement at all.
Right, but just working every day and you have me killed and other people like me. So
whoa. Okay, like for real, you realize, like, memes aside, you aren't in the demographic that would be like killed, right? You do realize that.
Damn, you're not enough of a capitalist.
Yeah, no. You told me. I mean, I hope.
Yeah, no. Like, I keep saying this. I don't know why. For you, X-Skills Me, it would be a matter of pleasure. But for other people,
why do you keep joking like that when he keeps railing you for it? Has anyone here ever actually wanted to, do a terrorism against groups like that? No meme. Not going to elaborate anything. I don't know, I just wish neo-Nazis were more scared for their life. Maybe just a backpack left at a rally. A classic. It'd only take one bombing to throw the entire alt-right into chaos. Can you imagine TD and 8chan? If a Nazi rally was bombed, holy fuck. The salt alone would ethically justify the deaths of many people. Thank you, Jen. And I mean, hopefully the culprit wouldn't be found. God, I can't believe Nazis can just congregate and nobody's doing anything drastic. A few hundred dudes in a crowd chanting blood and soil, a single bomb or a well-timed burst of rifle fire could really make racists afraid again, remind them that they're alone and in peril. Keep in mind, in the United States of America, you do have a First Amendment right, even if you are a Nazi, to go and march up and down whatever streets you want. It used to be a right that we cherished in this country. Also, the scary thing about comments like this are, I'm pretty sure my community would count as a Nazi community. So I don't know if they'd want to ban like a Destiny GG meetup, but hey, it is what it is. Vosh has flirted with the idea of being more or less radical over time, but for the most part, he's always been considered significantly to the left of me. Ian was a highly active member of my community and has stated multiple times that he'd watched every video and debate I'd done.
Twitter, because lefties like to jerk themselves off over shit that I say about workers or whatever.
Embarrassing as it is to admit, I have watched every single YouTube video that has been produced by your editor over the past 2 years.
In March of 2019, it had been brought to my attention by a few individuals that Ian was engaging in some form of long-term sexual pressuring of an 18-year-old woman in my community. As my fan base was currently undergoing a fairly radical schism at the time, I had to figure out a way to handle the situation that didn't make it look as though I was only punishing Ian for being a leftist. I decided to do a public reading of the logs, first to my community, to see what the general reaction would be to the behavior before revealing the culprit. His behavior was almost universally condemned, and it was only once I revealed who the accused was that some members of my community changed their mind and said I was being too harsh. This is where the classic, as I'm reading the logs, this is train, Omega lol, Pepe laugh. This has to be train. Please don't flirt with me. Yeah.